Rah! Hello, Tim Harrison from Blue Crow Crafts here. A quick tutorial on making this curved origami skull design of mine. So my lovely friend Chris has helped me produce a proper crease pattern. I've printed this out onto watercolour paper, and you could go crazy and print it out straight if you want. It doesn't necessarily have to be all wonky. This one's printed out on watercolour paper, but you can, let me point that down so you can actually see what's going on. Okay, and see if I can get the light right. There we go. So I've printed this on watercolour paper, but you could print it onto card or any other thick paper really. And all you need to do is cut round the square. I know that's upside down at the moment. So the black lines around the outside, they are to be cut. Fascinating viewing, me cutting slightly wonky card. But I want you to see that this is really a quick craft that can be done in a few minutes. And as you can see, it can produce some pretty cool shabby chic goth kind of things, or I'll show you some of the other things I've done with it in a second. So cut around the square, and then you need to score these lines. Now they're all going to be scored from the same side, from this side, but you'll see some of them are red and some of them are blue. So if you look at this model here, which is the same model, I made this from this template, that some of them from this perspective go up, they are mountain folds on this side, and some of them are valley folds, but this is actually obviously from the rear. Oh, there you go, you can see how I sketched it out. Right, so I'm going to keep that there for reference, not for me. Oh, I'll tell you what, if I do it that way around, you can actually see what's going on there. Okay, so to score this, I'm using a pizza cutter, but you could use a ballpoint pen or just the back edge of a table knife. But a pizza cutter is really good for doing the curves. So you just push down and score all of these lines that are marked on here. As I said, they can all be scored on the same side, but then when it comes to folding it, we will then start to vary it a little bit. Some of you may know that I am in catering, and I have been most of my life, so you know I'm pretty handy with a pizza cutter. You don't have to use it though. A ballpoint pen will work equally well. Equally well. That wasn't very clear, was it? Okay. See, we're already nearly there. We need to not forget these diagonal lines. Obviously you know what all of the lines mean. I don't have to tell you that. It means all of them. And it's quite forgiving. You don't have to go absolutely crazy and stress yourself out about meeting all the lines that I've marked here. More to the point, Chris has marked. I sketched them out roughly on the back of one that I hammered out. One more, and then we'll start to fold. Okay, so that's them all scored, and if you look on this side, if I can get the light just right, you can see that it's indented on that side. You can't really, you can see it in real life. Okay, so if we look at it from this perspective now, we can see, I can see the lines on this side, but I can see that this one needs to go down. So to make these curve folds, as you push the fold down, you curve the paper into what will be the final shape, and just tease it down with your finger, trying not to indent other pieces around. You see, so that's our first one. That's got starting to develop the shape of the face of the skull. And then again, from all these perspectives, you just push it along the curve and tease it round. Okay, now I'm going to do these diagonal ones, because these diagonal ones here, I do these next because they start to provide enough space for all the other ones to contract in, because you've got to notice that the whole thing ends up a lot narrower than the original piece of paper, the overall model. Okay, so there, and then you can pinch that right up and cinch that up to the bridge of the nose there. So we're up to here now. You see? Okay, and then we will do the other parts of the eyes. And if you scored it well, you scored it hard enough, you'll see it really does just fall into place. Little effort at all. So it's already got that kind of look. Now we just need to give it some cheekbones, darling. Cheekbones. There we go. All about the cheekbones. Obviously it's not. If it was just about the cheekbones, it would just be a couple of slightly wonky lines, wouldn't it? So you see all of those lines up until now, I did as valley folds from this perspective. I did it from that side, didn't I? So I did them as mountain folds from that side, apart from these two, the side of the cheekbones. And then once you start to get those together, you can just kind of squeeze it like that. And then the whole thing can be pushed and curved into shape. And that's the finished item. There you go. How easy was that? Super easy, right? And then for something like this, I just flattened this back out, glued it with spray adhesive to a pretty paper, stuck it down and then refolded it. You've got to make sure that you get a really good adhesion, because otherwise you get some kind of Norabati tight style wrinkles in these in what are valley folds on this side. And then you can go ahead and put it on the backing paper and frame it and make it kind of like William Wallace goth. Do you remember Frighteners, the movie where or even Stranger Things, where things are coming through the wallpaper? That's kind of what I had there. I thought it was hilarious. And then at some point I'd actually use it to kind of as an expression piece. Like, that's an unscratched scratch card. Could be worth £500,000, who knows? Anyway, so please do give it a try. It's super easy, super quick. I know it's a tad macabre, but you know, there's nothing scary about that, is there? Really?